Are we going? We're going. Let's go. So here is where we're at with this composition. So I've got my a video that I posted previously showing you guys how to be able to paint a planet. And within that planet painting session, the interior of this spaceship was largely untouched. Had some sketches, had some rough ideas planted in there. So went through, did a session on the ceiling within this space. Within the ceiling on this spaceship, you can see that I've added the tertiary level of detail. So I've got my big shape for what the ceiling looks like, and then I've gone through and I've broken that down with the darker lines into smaller bits. And then inside of each one of those smaller bits, there's another level of detail. And then in some cases, inside of those smaller shapes, another shape on the inside. And then I went back and added just a blanket gradient over the top of it because it's a massive space and the light's going to get diffused. But by adding in all of these tight little shapes and giving them some detail and some interesting silhouette and thinking sci-fi, so it's not just, an X wire that's going across, instead it's connected in some kind of unique or interesting way, that gives me a good shape pattern and rhythm of black and white up in that area that I've toned down a lot so that, here, I'll show you what it looks like without the gradient on top of it. So without the gradient, it looks like that. It looks fine, but it's entirely too bright and sort of fighting with the space station off in the distance. So that's why I put that much detail in there, but then dropped it down a lot with the gradient on a new layer over top of it. What I'm doing today is sci-fi floors. So I wanted to go through, and I've got this big old dark gray shape, sort of looks like Mickey Mouse ears on the ground. And then I've got this lighter gray section. And over here on the left-hand side, I've got this little platform. And the platform sort of represents a good level of detail for breaking up this floor space to where it's visually interesting and has the three levels of detail. So we've got this big flat plane, and any of these planes I've gone through and added, other little tight details and so forth on them. So you can see that line is quite as clean as I'd like for it to be. That's better. And likely on this platform over on the left-hand side, I'll go in and I'll add a big sweeping gradient to it at the end. But I need to figure out how to be able to break up this floor to where it feels visually interesting and sci-fi-y while it's going back in space. And we've got it moving off further away. And I'm on a pretty good track to be able to accomplish that. When I look at my overall composition now, having rendered out the white beams, there's some areas in the white beams that I feel like are just too plain. So this is with all the white layer turned off. And now we've got the highlights on those beams that are turned on. And specifically on the interior structure over on the right-hand side, these beams feel way too empty to me and not really visually interesting enough. So I want to do something there just to make them feel a little bit more interesting, and give them some kind of pattern or something needs to be happening there just to make them flow a little bit more nicely into the overall scene. But to solve that mystery, I need to figure out what my floors are going to look like. So I'm going to be painting in more details on those floors and more to kind of walk you through what that process looks like. So when I was starting to paint these floors on Friday night, I've been painting for quite a long time, and nothing was really working. I kind of felt myself getting in a rush, and it wasn't coming together too well. I realized I needed to go ahead and paint in the furniture and get that in its place. I've decided I don't really like painting furniture that much. It always it's slow. It's not that interesting to render, and it doesn't really show off that well within a demo for how to be able to paint furniture. But it's so ubiquitous, it's necessary. And I needed to get that furniture placed so that I could make my lines work with the rhythm of the bright orange furniture that I'm placing on the interior of this space. Without that, the lines were all going to be kind of jumbled and intersecting, and it wasn't really going to flow as nicely as I knew it could have. The next thing is that I wanted to go back to my reference images. So the original reference images that I had for this painting was this one over here, and this helped me get my initial idea and solve for some of my painting. But now that I'm working on this interior, I realized that I was kind of running out of reference ideas and ways to be able to break up this space effectively. So I needed to go back and pull in more references to my painting to be able to solve for this new region. I was starting to get into a rush with it, and it wasn't really looking all that great, and it wasn't really making the best decisions. So by pulling in new reference images just to have over there on the side to be able to glance at, I'm going to end up making better choices overall on this ground and on this interior paint job that I'm doing right now. So with that said, let me grab one of my middle grays. I don't think this is my full dark gray. I don't want to use that one yet. I'm just going to use the middle one. And let's have a look at this floor space over here. So we've got the straight lines. That's kind of nice that they've got some thicker lines that they're breaking up over these sections, and they're sort of creating a walkway, excuse me, space, and then off to the side of each one of those like designated walkway spaces or areas, they've got some other little zones that they've created that I think are working really, really nicely here. So I want to see if I can't determine and decide on what the main big walking space is going to be within this shot. And then from there, I think that'll give me a much better idea of how I can segment out onto the left or the right of this walking space what this thing is going to look like. So let's see what happens when I just start pushing some of the stuff like this. All right. So we know we've got an entryway here that, people are going to be able to step into, but I want there to be some type of step down into this. So I want it to feel like it's recessed. So I've got the smoothing turned on to 25% within this painting. Or for my brush is also set to a tapered edge. And I'm turning off the airbrush on this thing as well. So if that's going to be my main walkway, these two big gray lines here, and I can start breaking this thing up in sort of an interesting way. So this is just standard sort of sci-fi ledge things that I'm going to be creating right here. This lower right-hand side, just to give some termination, some interest at the very bottom shot. Also, quick note, we are at the end here. This is going to be the last demo for these sessions. Well, not last demo, but last painting that we're working on together. So, quick pro tip: always save your files on some kind of cloud storage. Do not keep your files local or on a jump drive. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people lose files over the years on a jump drive. It gets corrupted, something goes wrong with it. Having a digital cloud storage is always going to be the best option. This video is by no means sponsored by Dropbox, but Dropbox is my preferred cloud storage device. I like it a lot. It's always worked great for me. And I've basically got my entire computer, all my working files on a Dropbox account. So that way I can log into it, and if my entire computer breaks down or something goes horribly wrong, I am not losing any work, and I can re-download all those files super quick. Dropbox, man, game changer. Game changer for digital storage. So that's going to be one of my main little items down there in the bottom right-hand side, just to be able to give it some interest. Also a good spot to sign the work. This is one of those that I think we were talking at the very beginning about using the pen tool. If you feel like you just can't pull that straight of a line, so I hit P on my keyboard to get to the pen tool. hitting brush just to make sure that my brush is small enough, going back to P, and then right clicking, going to stroke path with my brush turned on, not the pencil. And all of a sudden I've got a nice clean line there. And that's really what's going to make the difference for all of this stuff is if you are working with a nice clean line. So going back to the reference image, they've got sort of a colored mark over here on the left and then some little dots along that walkway. I want to complete that walkway first. I'm going up this ramp here. Let's move it back to here. So again, help to give us some good perspective lines to work with along this. There we go. Another good one for the pen tool. Join these two guys. Much better. I could have spent 2 days trying to figure out how to be able to connect those lines cleanly, but instead I'm getting it done very, very quick with the use of the pen tool. I love that. Making sure that my line is working with my perspective so that it's getting thinner as we move further back. You can see just that big bisecting line that I'm creating within this piece. Oops. Straight line. How much that's helping to be able to visually break up the rest of this thing. There we go. That feels pretty good to me. Cool, cool. So now we've got a nice big old line that's starting to break up the rest of this shot. Go back in here. And I'm going to decide that this is going to be sort of a step, a little platform that all this is located on. It's a little platform right there. And let's go back over to the reference image. So they've got this line right on the edge of the walkway. I think we can do it one better. We're already establishing there's kind of a thick deepness to it. So let's do something a little bit more interesting on either side of this line that we just created. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to do 2 lines on either side of the walkway. And I'm going to be building out from here. All right, so we've got those 2 lines. I think they're butting up against those other lines that I've created pretty nicely. And what I want to do is just every, little ways here, give it a dash. There we go. So the important part here is that I'm taking a basic shape, like a line or one mark that I might make. And then I'm going back and I'm giving it just a little bit of extra work. And the more that you do that with sci-fi design, the better it's going to look here. So if you're just making a line, think about how you can go back over that line to be able to add just a little bit more interest to it. So as I start to back up here, look at that thing. All of a sudden, we're getting a really, really nice pattern, a bit of rhythm that's going on with and around that walkway. That's working and looking pretty cool. I'm going to carry the same idea back through the rest of the piece. Let's go in here, and I want to make these two match. Got one, one, one. I'm just tracing from one side of my line to the other. There we go. These are starting to get a little bit messy with one another, but that's okay. A little bit longer there. Trying to get my shape as close to perfect as I can. Go. And here we are. So let's check it out. And now I've got a really, really nice line that we just created going on the edge of each one of those. And that is helping to break up that space very, very nicely. So they've also got some other shapes on the inside of these lines. I think they're pretty nice. I think it's going to work better for us if we just cut these things up. Oops. So I said I wanted this to be sort of a ramp right here. So we'll call that like a wire cover or something like that. So I'm in a pretty good spot. I've got a good idea of what's going on either side of those. I want to see if there's anything else that I really need to figure out here as I continue to push forward with this. So let's look at the other reference image here. So we can see that they're doing something similar where they have these platforms over here on the right-hand side, kind of like the inside of a computer. They've got those broken up into some different colors and shapes, but at the core, it's just sort of like a carpet that you get at Rooms to Go or something that they've added texture over the top of. It's not that interesting. Um, yeah, they're all right, but I like the reflections that I'm getting coming out. So there's for sure still some lights that I need to figure out where those are going to go on the inside of this space. The other thing that I keep on seeing when I look at this is I want to do some type of, it's not going to show up, it's the same color. I want to do some type of ocular pattern on the inside of this circular section and then on the inside of this as well. That's unique or interesting looking. So to save myself a little bit of hassle and heartache, this is one of my references. Let's go into sci-fi circular. Yep, there we go. So we got some loading patterns here. This stuff is going to be way too obvious if I put that on the ground. You see that one everywhere all the time. I'm looking for sort of a triangular pattern that I can use. Go with my triangles. All right, so those are working pretty good there. That one is like an optical illusion. That's a little bit too much. Image searches aren't what they used to be. That is a, let's go in classic 70s sci-fi hexagons. I'm not going to do that. Hexagons are so obvious and so overused. That is the definitive shape of the future. This can work. I think I'm getting overly picky now. All right, that'll work for me. See what we can do with it. All righty, and I'm just going to duplicate this real quick, hide the base one, get the color so I can find it again, edit, transform, and distort. All right, that one will work. Get my next one up, edit, transform, and distort. And I'm lining these two up so that they match with my ground plane. Almost like I'm laying in a rug over the scene. And those two will work really nice now. So let's just merge the two things together. Bring it back over that gray ground layer. There we go. So now they are dropped in, and I've got the ability to keep them yellow again, to go in and let's start cutting shape into these. Yeah. So I think that that's working pretty well for the for getting some patterning going on within my object. But the lines are okay. There we go. Let's turn that down a little bit. So that's kind of what I was thinking within that area. Working pretty well for me. There we go. So this shape in the back is sort of fighting with the shape of the There you go. So that feels a little bit better, and is breaking it up. It still feels much smaller and feels like it's appropriate for the distance within the shot, and that's helping me in a big way to be able to break up visually that section of my design. So I'm happy with that for now. Definitely got some more stuff to do here, but let me show you. So once I go through and I get that line work completed to a degree that I'm happy with, right? So each one of my lines, I'm creating a line, then I'm going to go back and add some little detail and some other elements to it. And the next thing that I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go in, a yellow one, and I want to use sort of a half color or tone just to be able to start blocking out some of these regions so that they're not all completely gray. I'll start filling in sections like this. So I say that, to the left of this walkway, anything that's off to the side of it, for the most part, comes this gray color. And you start just creating rules for yourself. But same thing applies for the shape language. It's still a bit boring right here. I know that I've got my lighter gray on the layer just underneath this. So you can also start putting subtractively here and there. And adding wherever you can, wherever it feels appropriate, always looking for little moments to be able to create those third levels of detail. So we step away and say, okay, that section's complete. Cool. Feels pretty good to me. And let's see where else I can start to apply. Just within this front piece, some of that gray to be able to help break it up a little bit more. That's an easy win there. Just giving it a little bit of gray on the inside. Around. Around. Cool, cool, cool. And do the same thing here because I want that main pathway to start to show up more. left clicking and then holding down shift and click again where I need to. All right, so this whole thing that's supporting couches, that's going to be a couch. I like it. Large and gray like that. That's really fine for me. Balance feels a little bit off here. Start doing that. Time. Here's a random thought. You ever notice how you've got like straps that you always end up walking inside of your own house? They're taking the same route or walking over the same areas, and there's little spaces within your home that you never actually interact with, like that your feet never go to. All right. That's what I feel like I'm painting right now. Is one of those areas that no one ever actually interacts with or walks over in a room or a space. Segmenting that off just a little bit more. Hmm. Whew. There. Cool. So that's looking good over there. Got some good focus that's going on within the walkway. I like adding the pattern into it. See if there's anything else I want to add or adjust here. I set up to this one pretty well. That looks pretty cool. Also helping to push the distance, the perspective within the shot a little bit more. Cool. I think we're in a pretty good spot. By the end of this, I'm going to pause for a second, and then we're going to go into like time lapse and continue to work through the rest of this thing. After that, I'm going to end up adding the shading into this tonight, and we'll get sort of a before and after for what this thing looked like from the beginning down to the very end. But yeah, this is how I end up working through sci-fi floors and spaces, taking some time. I spent a lot of time on the ceiling to look like this, but I think that the payoff is totally worth it for it to look well considered and designed while you're working through these different items. My other goal here is again to get some kind of reflectivity going on within this floor also. So I'm looking forward to adding that at the very end. That'll come after.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do, so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move, so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power. Don't be fucking sour, take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder. And fuck all the doubters, they're just fucking downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
was built to last. With the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past. With all I'm achieving, got my foot on the gas. Never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. Go!
To last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep 'em out your face, no way, you don't want 'em, yeah.
Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus.